start with DQ lab, and in post that we will discuss about the yesterday queries on workflows. Like 2 to 3 questions I will be like showing up yesterday. For example, like we have a API version 2 warning displayed in our workflow definitions page. So we shall see how to resolve that after this. Okay. So, yeah. So we have a Collibra DQ like data quality engine. So in this Collibra data quality engine, we can in this user interface we can like connect our JDBC connections, and then we can ingest the actual data that we have, like the physical data, and then we can check the data quality table level and the schema level. So we can create DQ jobs in this. Let's see how to do. So in this DQ lab, we'll be seeing how to create a DQ check and how to schedule that in a particular table or data set, and how what are the adaptive rules created inside Colibra and how to use that, and the custom rules that we can create and apply for our data set tables, maybe for columns, and how to schedule the created DQ jobs weekly, monthly, or quarterly wise, and how to configure data quality alerts. So if in case we are finding any discrepancy or the score is very low, if you want to create alert to the respective users, then we can create that alert. So how to create that, and then the scorecards for the data sets. So we can have the scorecards for the data sets based on the rules we have configured. The scorecard will display the scores, and then data quality reports. We can download the reports from Colibra for a particular data set. Yeah. So we have 5 data quality reports. We shall see that. Before that, let's see like what is Colibra's data quality. And yeah, so like Jim Kreshman is saying, data quality is the integral to data intelligence. If there is no the data quality is not good, then we can't trust the data, and the proper business decision can be made at right time. So data quality is must for any organization, yeah, for its values delivered at an effective manner. And Colibra's data quality will like provide these 3 features to us. It will provide relief to the backlog resource. For example, if we are having some discrepancy in the resources, and because of its because of the reason we can't trust that, we are keeping that for repair and it is backlog. So we can repair it using Colibra's TQ, and we can make it ready to use, and eliminating bottlenecks for business users. Business user, they themselves can also configure the rules in here. So like there is no bottlenecks for each data set. They can independently create a data quality job, and they can start validating. So the time like elapsed will be reduced, and it will establish a confidence in the validity of your data. So for a particular table or column, while seeing the scorecard, we can have a confidence. So this column and this table is having this much of data quality. So we can use that, and yeah, it is good to go. So if we see how Colibra data quality works, it is using AL and MI. So it will once we ingest our data set and we configure some of the rules and we start running the job, it itself will learn the things based. Itself will harness the behavior of the data sets. For example, if a date column, like if a age column is having values from 30 to 50, then it itself like if the age is between 30 to 50, like it is a nominal one. And if in case if there is a mistake in the column and column value, and the age column is given as 100 or 110, then it will show that like this much of error by AL and MI. So yeah, so it itself act on the data that we have in data quality, and itself it will like show up the rules that we can apply on our data set. And also yeah, it itself will apply, and we can see that in our DQ UL. And we have automated rules and checks. So it itself automatically creates some of the rules and checks, and also there are some of the rules and checks provided out of the box in Colibra. We can also leverage that for our data set. And enablement, so like in Colibra, so it is this US designed and in a such a way so that the business user as well as technical user both can like work on it, and then they can like technical team can create based on the requirements. If the like for a particular data set, if we get the requirement that this column should be in this range and this column should not contain this kind of data type, so like we can create a can get the requirement from the business team and then we can implement that. And the business team can check the reports and they can derive the valuable insights on that. So yeah, it is user friendly for both technical and business users. And so if you see the features of the data quality, so it has auto discovered and adaptive rules. So adaptive rules, it itself will discover, like it will auto discover and apply adaptive rules to our data sets and horizontal and vertical scalability. So if our row count is increasing, if for a table, if we have lakhs and lakhs of rows, it is scalable. And yeah, it can it can apply and see the data quality. We can apply our job and see the data quality for such a huge data set as well. And we have continuous automatic data profiling. So it itself will detect the correlations between the columns. So if one column A is like, for example, if there is a profit percentage and a sales value, so there will be some correlation between these columns. So if the profit is increasing, the sales value will also be increasing. So it itself will detect that and outlier. So if a column is such as H column is having a value more than 100, it also detects that outliers. It can also we can also have a pattern check. For example, if it is a phone number, it will be on the 10 digits. So those kind of pattern checks we can apply in Collibra. Yeah, and the data drift, if there is a sudden movement, like sudden drift in the data, so until now the data is the column is having this data type and the values on this column is below 100. And today on this month start, if the data is there is a sudden drift, it can also notify that to the users in this UI. And data reconciliation and during data movement. So we can say that this is the source and this is the target table. So for example, if there's a stage and ITG table, we can say this is the source table and this is the target table. And it can show the missing records, the missing the missing lineage between the source and target. So we will be seeing that in the slide as well and in the lab, so we can understand that. So it can also detect the missing lineages between the when with the data is moving between among systems. And sensitive data discovery. So if there is an age column or a salary column or employee ID, so these are or scores of a particular employee on a particular exam. So this kind of sensitive column, it can automatically it itself can classify and mask that. Yeah, and self-service data quality. So it also can we can also have alerts created. Like once we have configured a data quality job, it will show the scores, and then we can create alerts based on the scores. If the score is less than 20 or less than 50, so immediately respective data stewards need to be alerted. Then we can do that. We can configure that. So it would be like a self-service. And so in which areas we can Colibra helps us. So if we see the first one, crowdsourcing. If we so for any kind of data quality check, so if it is a rows and tables in SQL, we will be having some kind of conditions, where conditions, and have likewise the conditions we have to apply. So in Colibra Sticky, even if we are not aware of SQL, we can give the column names and we can configure that, and the SQL query builder will automatically itself will build a query based on our inputs and rule coverage. So if we are creating a rule by ourselves in a SQL or other tools, it will take much time. But so in Colibra, it is very easy to create the rules and auditor and different caps. So the data analyst, data scientist, even they might not be aware of some of the data inconsistencies inside a table. If there is a lakhs and lakhs of rows, so they can apply the rules as much they can. So Colibra also can identify the gaps they are missing. And automated repeatable process. So once we have configured the rules and we can schedule a job, so it itself will be running if we schedule it monthly or weekly or daily. So everything is automated, and we can the score and the data quality scores are readily available in Colibra. So this is automated, and the time involved and the manual efforts involved is reduced. And technology limitations, now Colibra is also scan the files and Kafka, so that we can, and also the Colibra can also involve the JDBC connections such as Postgre, and so that most of the technology, so even if we are having our files in S3 or remote file connection, we can easily implement it in Colibra. So getting standard. So like if we are organization having like multiple data sources, we can unite all the data source. We can like all streamline all the data source in Colibra's data quality engine, and we can apply the job. So everything will be available in here, and it will be very transparent and it is trustworthy. So we can also derive reports, and we can also configure few workflows, and the scorecards are visualized. So everything can be the three activities can be done in this single UI and prioritized efforts. So once like if there are hundreds of data sets, and we can so if you are configuring to like a schedule, if you are creating like a alert message for the users if the data quality is less than 50, then they can prioritize, okay, this data set is very inconsistent, so we need to act upon. Likewise, so we can check the quality of all the data sets, and we can prioritize which one should be like acted upon. Likewise, and yeah, so in this case, this like this pattern check, it will see that till now, this is one use case. Likewise, so till now for this state MD, with the state with this code MD having this code, these three values, but today it is having this value 19101. So while this pattern check, it will show this as an error. If we are applying while configuring the job, if we configure like to check the pattern of this zip code, then it will show this error. So it itself will learn. Yeah. And just a minute. Yeah. So in connections, if we see what are the source technologies we can have. So in JDBC connection, we can include Postgres, MySQL, and MongoDB. For these three sources, we have jar files in Collibra Marketplace. For the remaining connection, if we want, we can like have the jar file downloaded from the common website, and then we can implement it in here. And we have remote file connection that should be in CSV, JSON, or XML format. So like if these remote files are in some kind of S3 buckets also, we can connect, and also we can directly upload the files. The file should also be in CSV, JSON, and XML format. So these are the supported data source. And so in this lab, we don't have admin option to connect any data source. So like how to connect a data source. So if we want to connect a data source, this is the Collibra DQ landing page, and we need to click connect on data. Yeah, once, but just a minute, guys. I log in and come back. Keep sharing again. As I don't have admin option, so like I can't connect the data. So once we click on connect to data in the home page, it will show us this. So like it will like which kind of connection we need to have, Postgres or Oracle. So once
Nandi,
I
make it
click
presentation mode.
Postgres,
Yes.
okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, I'll be clicking on this Postgres add, and it will show like this for the configuration details, the name, URL, port, and the driver. So the location of the jar file, and yeah, the password and the username. So then I can click and save. So the data source will be connected. So this is how we'll be connecting the data source inside Collibra. We have, and then so then let's see how to create a new DQ test. That is a new DQ job. So like in the Colibra's landing page, we have a new DQ test. So once clicking on that, it will ask like this will be done in lab. So just let's see all this, and then let's try in lab. So once clicking on this DQ test, it will show the existing connections, multiple connections, multiple database that is present inside Colibra's DQ, and we need to select the table which we want to like create a data quality job. So once I click on table, I can see the option create DQ job. Yeah. So I need to click that, and I need to create that. So yeah, then once I click this Collibra DQ job, it will be asking for the columns I need to include. So if, for example, if you are having 20, 30 columns, I need to check the quality of the data set. Like I need to check this rules applied only for 10 to 20 columns, then I can select that. So based upon my selection, this SQL query builder will automatically select those columns. And then yeah, so for if I want to check the quality of a data for a particular date, then yeah, I can give the date. So if I'm having a date column, sales date, or like some of the date start date or end date. So if I have having some kind of key column, and based upon that column, if I want to check the data, for example, so on the date May 4, how many products have been sold. So likewise, if I want to check, I can pick up that column I want in here and then the date, so that yeah, then yeah, we'll be having, yeah, I think we can do the lab parallelly so that it will be easy. So need duplicate test, I'm clicking on this. So these are the connections. So okay, so we have two Postgres connection in here. So let's go with this bootcamp data Postgres connection, and we have this much of database. And then we have these two tables. So I'm taking one of the table and I'm creating a DQ job. So these are the existing DQ jobs already created. So I'm going to create newly. So here, in the below data preview, I can see that columns. So we have ID, trip duration, start time, start station ID. So it is a by trip from where the trip is started on the date and where it is ended. So latitude, longitude, end station ID, likewise. So, and we have 16 columns in here for the customer. What is the birth year? What's the gender, male or female, and the bike ID, and yeah, the address, end station name, and start station name. So this is the data preview. So this bike trips table has this much of columns, and yeah. So 30 rows have been available as preview, but in reality it may have it. I think it's having more than 500 rows. So I can minimize this. And then, so what are the columns? These are the columns that is present in this table. So what are the columns I need to include for this job? I can select. So if I'm selecting none, yeah, it is no columns are selected. If I'm selecting, if I want to validate only this much of columns, I can select. So for our case, let's select everything. So, and also if we see in this data, we are having start time. So start and stop both are in the same days as it is a bike trip. So let me select a date. So on this particular date, I want to check the quality of the data. So will select the start time column. So this is a date column, and the value will be copy time. So in this date, so it will select all the columns from the exercise data for this job, and yeah, where the start time, like start date is on October 31, 2015. So yeah, then I can have a pattern check here. So if I want to check the pattern of a particular column, I can click it on and then add. So we can check the pattern, of bike ID maybe. So that this should not be the pattern. Likewise, so let me add a column bike ID. Okay. See.
Nani, what's the key? This key selection.
So if we are like, if we are had like for this country, this would be the phone number, And for if you are having a column for the country and there are 10 to 20 countries and the respective phone numbers of the customers, then if we want to group the, we want to check the pattern on country wise. For example, for this country, for India, the country code, the phone number should be starting with +91 likewise. So if
Mm-hmm.
I am want to check a column based on another column, so in that case I can click on this key column and then another column. So if in case I'm giving only one, it will check that.
Mm-hmm.
So in case I want to check a column based on another column, so for this state, these are the zip codes likewise, then I can.
Okay, got it.
Okay, yeah. And then out. So if you want to check out, so so in some of the columns, if we want to check the outlier trip duration, let's check the outlier on trip duration. So I will add a column trip duration. Okay, so which in which columns we need to detect the outliers. So if we want to have a like in some of the primary key columns will not have duplicates. So if in case we need to have unique values in some other columns, then we can add that. So ID, let's take ID should be unique. So I'll click it on. So whether it should be exact match, or so if we want an address column such as like state column should be unique. We have Madhya Pradesh. So in some cases the user may have space in between Madhya plus Pradesh, or otherwise they will be entering Madhya Pradesh without a space. So in that case, if we want to apply this like duplicate check on that, we can deselect this exact match and we can adjust this like how much like duplicacy check we
Uh,
need to apply for 80 to 90% if it is matching. Yeah,
this is good. Yeah.
chess board.
No, I say it's a relevant feature. Right. I like it.
Hmm. Yeah. So in that case, we can adjust the like how much sensitive the check should be. So 80 to 90%, if it is matching, then yeah, we can consider it as duplicate likewise. So yeah, I can apply this and I I will check duplicacy in bike ID. Yeah, one more ID column is there, and then save. So so if we are like so we can preview the source to target data. So if we are having like the query metadata and if we have the source to target mapping, so we will be having the source to target data in here. So this table is the source of this table, and then we can drag and drop the source to target column in here for validation. So those type of validation will only be like will be checked in this job as well. So in our case, we don't have the source to target mapping. So yeah, we can disable it as of now. So in case if you are, this is the source table and this is the target table. If there is missing relationship, it will show. So if this relationship, missing relationship is valid, then we can like suppress this. Or if it is invalid, then we need to like the data analyst should make necessary actions for that. Yeah. So I have configured everything. I can also leave this outlier pattern, so it is not mandatory. So as per our requirement,
So yeah, Nandini, only these one, two, three, four, five types of DQ checks are there.
yeah. Other than this, we have like automatical
Okay,
rules, adaptive rules.
these are the
So that
manuals.
yes. Yeah, these are while creating a job. These are the things we can configure.
Okay.
Like yeah, we can check. So once everything is done, I will click run. Yeah. So it is everything is successfully saved. Those were a successful message. So if another like job is there with the same name, whether I need to overwrite or I need to have a unique name. So likewise, so I will have a unique name now. So it's 841. So I give 841. So yeah. and then the run date. So yeah, so for this date we'll be running. This one we have been given at the initial step. Yeah, it is auto updated in here. Or otherwise we can select it in here also. So on this date out like the, so for the start date having this value, the quality score will be like the data quality job will be running upon this rows, having this kind of values in the start date. And I'll be adding the agent, and in this replay, like, so how many I have given only one day to check, so I can also check like 4 to 5 days before that. So it is October 31st. If I want to have the data quality score from 26 to 31st, then I can select the days count. So it will include the 4 days back, so 4 to 5 days maybe. Let me select 4, and then yeah, estimate job. So once we configure, so it is using one core, one executor, one RAM, and there are 514 rows and 16 columns in our dataset. Job estimate, and it just shows the message, and then we can click run. So job is submitted in the queue. So let's check that on this jobs page. So we have jobs in the left thing. So like this much of job is running on April 15, like the job count running in our DQ engine. So the 1841 we have submitted is still running, and to submit that. Once it is finished, we can see the result. Let's wait. So this is finished. I will open this job in the new tab, and we can check the score. So we have configured 4 in that replay. So it is showing the other 4 dates 27, 28, 29, and 30. So this is the date that we had ran the job for 2015, 10/31, and the score is like 71. And so behavior, so this is the place where after a 4 passing run, like Collibra DQ will have the automatic rules generated in here. So we can see the automatic rules in here. So this is not yet implement in this like in this core, it is not yet included. So after 4 to 5 successful runs, if Collibra considers that it's a valid check, then it will add this kind of checks in this in here. And also the score here will be affected once the adaptive rules are applied in here. So now let's check what is the existing adaptive rules. So for birth year, the range is between 37.4 and 49. So the people riding our bikes are having like in average the age between this. So we can see this check. So like adaptively it has been like applied by Colibra's learning, and in 1980, so this are the insights Colibra has had based on the like based on its learning, and we can manually edit it. So if we consider, so over the like the people is having the age like higher than 21, they are eligible to have bike rides, and that is also a correct range. Then we can adjust. So up to 55 maybe. I can adjust this rule, and I can save and retrain. I can manually adjust the bounds. So between 0 and 12. So yeah, as I manually adjusted, now the bound is yeah. During the next runs, even if the like the range is between, even if it sees any of the age on 22 or 25, it itself will like learn that this is also a correct range and nominal range likewise. And suppress, so if we consider this as a like not mandatory, so this rule is not mandatory and this should not affect our score, we can suppress the rules shown in here and then save and retain, so that it will not get updated in our in our job, and also it will not the score will not be detected based on those adaptive rules. So we can also check the rules that we can apply for the other columns. Yeah, so this rules are applied by this Colibra's learning. Yeah. And then these are the rules that we have applied for this data set. So these two like are in predefined. We can also check the rules in here. So if you want to check in this rules, so this n station name is a valid name. So like the pattern, it should be matching with this pattern. If the n station name is in this pattern, then it is valid. Like this is the rule. And yeah, for the slab, they themselves has configured these two rules in here. We shall see how to configure one more rule by yeah. And so the point is 1. So like 1.15 percentage out of the all records. So there is 500 plus rows, and is someone a sabotage? Okay, so like there are 500 plus rows and 1.15 percentage, that is 8 record is breaking this rule. I can check the records in here. So the end station name is 5 corners library. It is not matching with the pattern that we have defined in this rule. So like it is showing as breaking, and then the start station name. So yeah, the start station name. So they are giving this location. So this is not like correct as per the rule that we have configured, and like 1.3 percentage is breaking out of 500 records, and that is 9 records it's breaking. And yeah, so like once we have this, we can also like validate, we can also assign this task to some other people. So if we can assign to someone, so validate this whether it is right or wrong or take necessary action likewise. So for this rule is being broken, so if we want to take some actions, we can assign it to some other people. Yeah, so then like the point is 1. So this for this rule the point is 1. So both this two rules have been failed, so 2 mark is deducted on the overall score. And also outlier, so like there is no much outlier detected on the rows that we have, like on the columns that we have configured. And also here we can see the mean, median, like minimum, maximum value and the mean value for the rows and the unit count, whether it is masked or not masked for all the columns that we have. So no mark is detected, and the pattern check, yeah, it is also passing. And source we haven't configured, and yeah, so no marks are detected. So
Nandini, one question. So, what's the difference between behavior and pattern check? With example, can
rules.
you help?
Okay, so behavior, this whatever is shown in the rules that is listed in behavior, it is made by Collibra itself. So it's a DQ learning will
Mm-hmm.
apply it's like some algorithms in background, and then it itself will show the rules in here. Then we
Okay.
can like utilize that, or we can suppress that. So this rules, this outlier pattern, source record, that we will be configuring getting the GK job. So other than
Okay.
behavior, everything we are configuring. Hmm. So this records, if we are having like some of if we are having like some columns and records, and in the next run that is getting deleted. So if a stage or ITG table is having hundreds of records, it while during the next refresh it might have deleted. So those kind of missing records, if there is like present, then it will be showing in here. And schema, so this is also kind of the column change. If there is the changes in the columns and changes in the data types, that will be shown in here. If it will detect the column or attribute change, and then yeah. So the changes, if we are running the data quality job 5 to 10 continuously on a data set, and if it has a drastic change, that can be shown in here, the schema change, or if the column is not there, if the column is removed on this refresh likewise. Yeah. And then duplicates. So the column for which we had applied the duplicate check, we had applied the bike ID and ID column. So for this two columns, it is applying the duplicate check. So 30 duplicate values have been found in here. So we can see this bike ID is same, and it here like, and we had applied duplicate check for these two columns, bike ID and ID. So like both in these two columns, we can have we are having this much of duplicate values. So the total score 30 is deducted from that. So 30 plus 2 32 is minus 100, 68 is the score. So the pass score is 70. So like this job data quality score is 68, and it is not this data quality job. Yeah. So anything you're asking, someone?
Uh, yes. So this 68 is percentage. 68 is count or percentage.
Yeah, like we can say it as percentage, as it is like 100 is the maximum limit. Yeah. So yes.
So it's a percentage, right? And then how to no, so I mean, assume that we have got 120 errors. What will be the score here?
100.
120 errors. What will be the score?
Zero. Zero is the lowest limit, and in
No, that's not. No, 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 no. It's not possible, right? 120. So you got 120 errors. That doesn't mean that it's like how do they define the 100%? That's my question.
like it is predefined. So out of 100, it will calculate based upon the rules. So for this rules, for each
No, so
rule,
Mani, so that was it's possible, right? That we got 120 errors, and then their possibility is of like 1 lakh error, right? For each row can have, right? So
okay. Okay. For rule you are saying, or for dues you are
for
saying?
for for overall, right? For overall.
In case of rules, for each rule, it is deducting one point. It's irrespective of the record count. There are 5 to 10 records
Oh,
breaking this rule, 8 records maybe. So
no.
yeah,
Uh-huh. So
for
for okay, so there
rules,
it is
it,
breaking two rules. Okay, and in diffs, In dupes,
Like there
okay.
are 30 dupes present in here.
But
So
in dupes, it is counting rows, right? In
yeah,
rows. So assume again we have like 500 dupes columns, so it will be zero score.
yeah,
I
the
doubt.
score overall, yeah, the dupes, like if we are having more, like the dupe is more than 100, then the score here will be 0.
Okay, so assume that just for a moment, right? We don't have
Mhm.
any other rules, right? Only dupe column having some errors, and assume that our data set has 1,000 row. Okay, and
Okay.
possibility of 1,000 duplicates, right? If everything is same, and we got like 150 duplicates. So isn't this code should be 150 by 1,000? That should be the
150
percentage.
by 1000.
Yeah, because the
Uh,
possibilities of 1,000, right? Maximum it could have 1,000 duplicates, but it has 150 only. So 150 by 1,000 should be the score.
no, so like the score will be might be 150 here, but as we can't detect that much value from here, it will be 0. So here it might display as score 150, might be. So like um so the percentage 150 by 1,000, that one it is in here. So 1% is breaking. So 150 by 1,000 maybe uh, 1.5%,
So
right?
that's
So
my question is it's a 68 is percentage, right? And how does it is calculating 68? So I am having question how to get the 100%, right? How to decide
like
what is the size of
first,
the 100%.
okay, let me add one thing. So the if we are having 1,000 records and 500 record is not passing in a certain row, then we can see that is 500 rows, like records is not passing, and 50% is not passing in here. And for this rule, the weightage is only one. So low, medium, high, we can configure while creating the rules. We can give the weightage low, medium, high, or critical. So based on that, the points will be detected. But in the case of dupes, so we are strictly limiting a column not should have dupes. For example, if there are 10 employee, like it's an employee column, the employee name should be unique. Then like directly for each duplicate value, each value is detecting. So if there are 500 values which have duplicate in 1,000, there are 500 duplicates. Each record is having two values, like two to
Mm-hmm.
similar. Then here it might be displaying as 500, but anyway the score will be 0 only, as it can't detect that much 500 value from here. Yeah. So the
No,
percentage
but
calculation,
it should detect the percentage, not the count. What I believe. So I don't know. And do you have any other? Can we configure some other the same rule maybe on the other another
so
schema?
if we want,
So, Nandini, actually, is there any option to check how the 68% is getting calculated? Like, do we have any
yeah, so
backend? Not
no,
this, not this.
so
On
we
the
can see it
graphical
in here.
representation, do we have any backend code or formula? How it is considering for the
um
68%? Do we have that? Or we don't have it.
Okay. So how the 68% is shown in here, we can see it in here. So for the dupes, 30 is reduced and rules 2 mark. So 30 plus 2, 32 is reduced from 100, so 68.
So
So based on this,
then how does 71 for
like,
everyday score? How does it is calculating 71, 69, 68?
so it is like, so in that, like date, what are the duplicates, what are the rules? Yeah, I have picked one. Let me check.
Can't see your screen.
It's still loading.
Okay.
It is black.
Yeah. No white.
Mhm.
For 1029, it's 68. Can we select another date? Maybe that's a okay. Select
Transfer.
another date. Okay, click here. Click here. Maybe. Okay. Why it is showing for
Yeah.
1029? Okay, it's a loading kind of thing. It shall now shoot 71. Then it will be proven. It's loading. Okay.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
Okay.
On that date,
Okay.
there are only 20
So how many? How many? So you have 28
yes.
plus 129. So yeah, it looks like it is calculating the count only. And
So
then
it
on
is
below,
can
yep.
check.
Or it is just
Like
the error numbers per, it might not be the percentage, it's just the error numbers, or it is the
Yes. So that
percentage.
no, so below the 100 is the
the
maximum.
in
So that's why I adopted.
Okay.
so for duplicates, if it is a very critical column and if we consider if the column is having duplicate, then it is a critical data quality issue. Then we can add those columns in here. So if you are strictly prohibiting the employee column should not employee ID should not be duplicate, then we can see. So like other rules, it is not if the in station name for 10 to 20 records, even if it is not valid, that is not a big case. But duplicate should not be there in some of the primary key column maybe. So the duplicate score is this much. So in this case, for each rule, the points deducted is only 1%, like 1 mark. But in duplicates, for each duplicate, it is deducting one mark. So yeah,
Mm.
okay. And
And then Nandini, on that below that 71, F1 or F7 is F is selected. Can we click O I N R? Yeah, select that. Okay. What are these? Is P is the confidence level? Okay.
so yeah, so in some case, in some dates, so we are like having a data set for the like a Uber maybe. So in some holidays, the peak will be high, and in some days, the like if it is in Corona lockdown, like no one will be having a bike ride. So in that case, we can
Ignore
select a
possibly
date
those days.
or the
Yeah.
time. Even if the score is very less, then we can set this topic Saturday and Sunday. There might not be much things recorded, or in this kind of days, like not midnight, might rows have been included likewise. So this is off peak run, and
What
let me
I
ignore this.
concluded here, like one data set is having assume 1 million row and possibility of at least 1 million errors, right? So even if it has 120 errors, it will be zero data quality, right? It doesn't see the like
No, no,
max.
like so in this rules, it is detecting one. So if we are having one one rule, so the same duplicates. So we are having some kind of might be an empty check or null check in here. So only one point will be detected. Even 150 rows is having null check. Like 150 rows has
Mm,
not passed the null check. Only one mark will
okay.
be detected. So if in case
For
we need to
duplicates, it
have
will be
only this
yeah.
much of weightage is allotted.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So this is
yeah,
yeah,
that would
like
be
I
fast in
understand
that case.
rules. The do's only is the confusion.
Like so we are strictly limiting a column not to have duplicate.
Okay, okay. And if we
So
want to
yeah, so this
generalize
column
like
gets
an
any
Nandini for number of dupes, if we want to just give 1 point, right? Like for rules we have given 1 point. Can we point here? No.
maybe 0 or 0.5, let me give. If you want, I want to check you, but I don't want to.
Yeah, possibility there. It's
So I
flexible.
can.
Yeah. But okay.
Or 0.0.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a configurable, right?
So if we consider it as more critical, we can mark it high, or else we can reduce it down. Probably yes. Correct. So any other questions? Okay. So let's move on shapes. So like no, like there is no kind of shape deviation is detected in here. So no score is detected for this one, and we can see the rules in configure the rules. I have opened this in new tab. So for this data set 841, I'm going to select configure. I need to add one more check. Maybe it can be a SQL or simple rule, or this predefined already global rules assigned. So I can have that also in here. So let me add uh, int check in this column int station. Maybe select a column. in Int station. So yeah, whether we can tag it whether it is for completeness or timeliness, uniqueness, accuracy, or consistency. Likewise on this dimension. So let me check validity, and I can have low, medium, or high. So let me select high for this case and save. And then if I check in rules,
Also,
so in
Nandini,
end state,
apart from the data glossary part, data quality, this is a separate module, right?
yes, Colibra DGC is a separate like UI, and this is separate data quality.
Okay. Okay. So those are not even, we couldn't see those graphs, and here we cannot integrate. Even registering of the data is only restricted to the DGC, and data quality module is different, right? Yeah.
Yes,
How
yes,
to register
completely
the
those
data.
two are.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. Nandini, one more question. Like, say, for example, now you have selected, like, there are, okay, one particular data set has some 10 or 20 fields or so. Okay. Like the bike, whatever you mentioned. Okay. There are some fields. Okay. Basically, the columns or whatever it may. Okay. I want to, out of these 20, I need, there are some 20 different rules applied on that each field. Okay. Each field has its own rule, like null check, 0, 1, whatever it may be. Okay. But I want to create a separate matrix with only 10 selected fields. Is that possible? So I want to check only the out of 20. I want to see the behavior of the 10 fields, and I want to create a metric, and I need to schedule that job so that I can share the, because I'm rest of the other 20. I'm not. I don't want to see how it is trending and all. Is a possibility?
Yes, we can just, yeah. Here, if we see only the rules, the score is detected for the rules, for the columns that we have involved in the rules. So we
Okay.
can add the checks for this 10 rows that we want alone in here. So it won't consider the other columns in the data set.
Okay. The rules might be running, but those I would not, I don't want to project. Say for example, all the 20 fields has some rules. Okay. Okay. But I want only to project the scores of the existing 10 fields only. Okay. How, say for example, all the 10 fields have null values. Okay. That shouldn't have a null value is my check. Okay. So I'm out of those, like, oh, okay, I want to check only those 10 fields, and I would like to create a metric, say for example, null check metric, and I want to see how the 10 fields are trending. So only can I see that kind of like grouping only in the null values for these 10 fields, and I would like to check the score. Is that possible?
I think that is not possible. In here we have 20, and for 10 alone, the metric should be added in here. That is like for the
Correct.
10 columns that we are interested in. So the grouping is not possible. So in adaptive rules, like, okay, just a minute. Let me try resolving. If we resolve it in this entity, yeah,
The
like
reason
it,
behind I'm asking is, say for example, you being a data analyst, okay, or sorry, you are working on a, okay, basically these 10 fields, I was creating some different report, okay, and you are
okay,
using these 10 fields creating a different report, okay. So I would like to create this as a Nandini's requirement of the report as a separate metric, and I want to create another requirement for Vinod the requirement report, something like this. That is the reason, is the
okay.
possibility to create a separate metric or reporting purpose, so that we've been individually looking to those rather than looking all the 20, basing on the consumption part. I'm asking, like, is that to project only those behavior of those 10 fields and how it is behaving, like that particular field you can have a your own rule, the field remains same, but your rule is different, my rule is different, so that's the reason is the possibility of creating a separate metric.
Okay. So if like for a particular data set, we can configure multiple jobs. So we can create two separate jobs. One is for first requirement and another one is for second requirement. And we can include the columns required. So will that be helpful? Like will that, yeah,
Yes.
result
That's the
X.
reason. So the requirements will be collated into one metric, and we can, so that only those, say for example, okay, your requirement is to check the null values on the respective fields, okay,
Okay.
and my requirement is to check if there is any value greater than 100%. Okay,
Hmm.
so I create,
Hmm.
but the field is same. Okay, so you created a report only for those 10, and you will be checking what are the null values, and out of those 10
Yeah.
fields, so that the report is coming up. Okay,
Score will
so
be.
it shouldn't affect your report. Matlab, like, the means, like, I created a 100% report. Like, we out of these 10 fields, any field is beyond 100% should be highlighted. Okay, so the rule which I created should not affect your score, and the rule which you
Yeah.
created should not affect my score. Those should be independent, but the rule should be applied on the same field. You got it right?
Yeah. So we can have two different DQ jobs, one for null check and one for empty check likewise, right?
That's what, like, all the 10 fields I can
Yeah.
create, but I can view as a separate metric, like, without touching your requirements and
Yes.
all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So
Yeah,
on
yeah.
my like my job will be running on the
Separately,
null check and
independently.
those 10 column, it will be the null. Yeah. And your
Okay.
job will be for empty check maybe. Sorry, date check or otherwise. Yeah. That would be
So
metric
it
separate and
is
the
doesn't
scores will
affect in
not
the
be
existing. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
connected. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Thanks, Nandini.
And okay. So I have created one more role in here. So let me refresh in here. Okay. So this whether end station ID is int, as I have given this, like as I have given the uh, criticalness as high while creating this rule, it is detecting more percentage. If it is low, it will detect 1 mark. I gave high on low, medium or normal, so it is detecting 25 marks, and 1% is breaking. So, like in this column, yeah. So this can be seen here. So we can see three rules configured now. So that can be visible in here, and what are the columns, the rows that have been breaking this rule, that can also be lowered. Let me refresh it again. So it will take some time for the newly created rule. So then if we want to create a global rule, maybe, so we need to create generic rule. So we can check that rule library. So global rule should be like, so if this column is matching this pattern or like so that all the columns, for other columns also we can configure this one. So empty check, null check, that is globally used for all the columns likewise. So if you want to create a global rule, whether it is a regular expression like a pattern check, if you want to have a regular expression check, then we can go with or rejects, or otherwise rule operator, so or like or l like. So maybe let me give, if like percentage and a, so if a character is having, like if a string is having a, then it will, yeah, the rule will be passed. So likewise I can define, and then rule operator like, so if I want to have like a condition, so this column name is the variable. So we need to like, so if we are using this check for an birth year, then that birth year will be assigned in here. So that is the variable used in here. So I will give the same. Mm, I'm thinking how to, like, if the column is having an int value, then we can apply this condition. So for a string column, maybe we'll add, so the column is having the character e. So let me give the rule name. Okay. Mm, I'm saving this. So I'm not that much good at, maybe. Okay, I have saved this rule. Now let me find it in role library. So I am having this rule globally defined. So now I can like apply this rule to all the columns, any of the columns in any of the data set. So the rule value is a column name like A. So if the column value, if the row value is having a character A, then yeah, like the rule will be like passing and the like the check will be applied. Likewise, and so globally we have so so email for email we have like some kind of values and then there should be at and then there should be dot likewise. So this is the pattern for email. So if any of the column is not passing this one, then it will be like a it will be considered as breaking this and the rule score will be deducted. So this is how we'll be configuring the generic rule. So if we want to have this kind of regular expression check for any of the columns, then we can go with regex and then we can fill the regex and the correct regex pattern and then it will be saved. So yeah, in case if we have requirement for having a regex check for any of the columns should be in this kind of format, then we can go with that. So this is how we'll be creating the rules. So if you want to create another rule, so we can have the A check maybe A check in column for set the column in station A. So low C and in the rules. So the A check is applied in here. So the breaking records. So for this data set, and yeah, this is applied to this column in station A. So if the column is having the column value, the row value is having A, then yeah, it will be like considered as passed. And if it is not having the value A, then it will be considered as failed. So now if I refresh, the rules will be 4 and it will be applied in the rules in here. And then we can see the rows that are breaking, but it will take some time for that. So yeah, so it is 9:25 and like let's stop till here and then for schedule.
Also, Nandini, yesterday a video recording also has been not shared. Could you please
Yeah,
send
I
it?
have uploaded. Yes, I will send that link and I have already uploaded in the Zoom folder so you can check. Anyways, I will also send. Okay. Okay.
Yesterday
So
recording also,
here,
because I think you
yeah,
haven't recorded it since, right?
I haven't recorded. Padma has recorded and I have downloaded and yeah, uploaded in
Okay.
Drive.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is recorded. It is there. Yeah.
Also, Nandini, so for example, now you are showing the UI level of adding the rules and all, right? Do we
Mhm.
have any backend of adding the rules? Like if I have the 10 columns, can I add it in the backend also, the transformations of the respective rule?
Like having that in
Backend in
this
the sense
file
like
and then
editing.
uploading in black.
Yeah, yeah. Say for example, in the SQL kind of, if all the fields are available there, can I apply the
Hmm.
rule for all the fields in a single go rather than clicking one by one? The back end of
No.
any query editor kind of those things.
Okay. Yeah. So if I let me show you. So so if I want to add a rule to 10 to 20 columns, so I can add it in here. And so birth year equal or less than is should be greater than 30 and add another rule. So but bike ID uh, like is not null and likewise I can add and yeah, so this rule I can apply in a single rule. So generate rule, okay, I will delete this. So generate rule, it will give the SQL, yeah, for this.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
can create this rules also for a particular person. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the query builder page, right?
And Yes. If you want to have a complex query, then you can have it. So, and let's see scheduling, configuring alerts and scorecards and reports tomorrow. So yeah, I will quickly like show you the workflow. I think I need to configure it. Like I need to log it, I think, in this workflow page. Give me 1 minute, I will reshare this thing. It's still sharing. Okay. Let me navigate to that. So this is the one we have created yesterday. There was a warning displayed in here. That is because I have added yes in this namespace. That's why while saving that, it throwed me that warning. So see, because of that like minor mistake, it thrown me that error. So then I checked. So we need not to add this yes, just Collibra API version 2, and then while saving this, the error was gone. Yes, and then so there was another question. So why to have activity request in review call activity? So you can open the file. Yeah. Okay. So in this review definition, so this is the voting sub process actually. So yesterday, like there was a question like why activity request is there. I have checked this voting sub process. I have downloaded that package from Collibra and then I have checked. So activity request is no longer required for this starting this workflow, and we can see the activity request is also not configured in the start. So like in the form, there is no kind of activity request variable or ID used in here. So like it is a this variable we can remove, and I have deployed a workflow after removing that activity request and it has done successfully. So and one more question is there. I will show this in Collibra. And another question is that so send voting action emails. So what is this field about? So if we see in start user the value of send voting action email, it would be a true or false field. So it is a boolean false. Whether so in this old sub process, whether we need to send like we need to receive the votes via email. So in the email itself, they can reply and that can be stored it in Collibra. Likewise, so that field we have configured as false. So the stewards we need to log in into Collibra DTC and then they need to like subject matter experts need to approve. That is the field for that. And Padma was asking if 50% people is not approving and 50% is approving, there are 10 stewards maybe or 10 subject matter experts maybe. So in that case, how to like consider the pass or fail percentage? So for that we are having this vote percentage. So this vote percentage, the review completion percentage. So in start we have configured it as 100%. So by default it will be 50. So if we have 100% and if we pass this 100% into this call activity, then only if all the subject matter expert approves, the workflow will be completed and the status of the asset will change as accepted. So if we are having 10 subject matter experts maybe, and we are like we are aware that 4 of them are in annual leave and we need to propose a business term urgently, then we can adjust this. We can give this vote percentage or 40 vote like this variable to 40% or 10%, 20%, so that if 1 or 2 people accepts, the workflow will be moving on. So we can control the percentage how many users need to approve based on this one. So if we are giving 100%, everyone whomsoever is in subject matter expert like role in that domain, everyone should approve, then only the like proposal will happen. So yeah, these are the 3 questions. So let me show the workflow I have deployed without this activity request in Collibra. So that is the this one. So like that variable is not in use. Let me take this workflow. So here we can see okay, let's just remove this activity request and deploy it now. Okay, I will remove this one, so it's no longer required for this voting sub process. Like this workflow for the sub workflow, we don't have required this field, so I will remove that and I will save it in another name. Zero nine. Okay, so let me deploy it in Collibra. It's successfully uploaded. So let me enable this workflow and run it now. This rule is for asset approval, so it applies for asset. I'll click for asset and then I'll add it in committee. Or assets and business. Okay. So as committee manager, I can start the workflow. Okay. I need to move this business. This global roles I need to be. Okay. So now let me navigate into this one. I will open new of the business asset. Search for the one we have added. This one, 09. So review, I will add some comment and approve as a subject matter expert and provide comment as a stakeholder. And then processing the comments. And approve. Okay, the task has been completed. So if I navigate to that workflow, so like we have removed that activity request element from that call activity, but okay, okay. So I like while downloading that from this Collibra module, they have added that. So yeah, but that is not used anywhere, so we have removed. So